Sure. Thanks Vikas for having me here. I think it's always a pleasure to be a part of ETPharma events. So Pharma 4.0, as you rightly said, I think World Economic Forum today has identified 6 technologies which are relevant for a pharmaceutical space. Total 8 to 9 technologies are there, but 6 are more relevant for any pharmaceutical company. 6 of them, first is AR, VR, augmented reality, virtual reality. Next is IIoT, industrial Internet of Things. Third is advanced analytics, nothing but AI, ML, and all other initiatives around it. Fourth is the way we do performance dashboarding today, just to measure performance, the MIS part of it and everything. Fifth is around digital twin, how we are recreating the actual space into a digital realm is again an important thing. And finally, I think the way we look at our data today, how we manage the data, is the sixth part of it. So all the 6 technologies are in a way helping us to do Pharma 4.0 in the right way of improving the productivity. Yeah. When I talk about productivity, I think today what has happened is around 43% of the production cost has been reduced. Manufacturing cost has been reduced by 43% thanks to digital lighthouses across companies. 43% cost reduction means also getting passed on to the patients. It's not just that pharmaceutical companies are becoming more efficient, it's also getting passed on to the patient, which means the medicines cost have come down essentially, which is an amazing thing to have. Secondly, I think the customer complaints. We are seeing a lot of reduction in the way customers' complaints have reduced. Like around 26% customer complaints have reduced, which is kind of a Pharma 4.0 initiative's outcome of it. There is another thing which we could see is around 27% cost of logistics has also been reduced, because we are able to plan intelligently which shipment goes by sea, which shipment goes by air, and how do I fit the equipment, the containers in the right way so that I save time and cost there as well. So Pharma 4.0 is here to stay, and it is helping us big time. These are few numbers which I quoted. There are many more which are there in the World Economic Forum, and I think most of the companies are doing something or the other in this space today. Sure. So India is known as the land of technology. I mean, a lot of people in the West, they look at us as technologists more, right? So how can we be behind? When it comes to technology, our competition is not within India. Competition is global. Yeah, because everyone in the world is talking about AI. Everyone in the world is talking about the golden tunnel and all. So how do we actually use those technologies to make us more efficient and be in the global map as well? Just to give you a couple of examples, the way we do our dossier filings, right? So there's a possibility, and just think about it from a word, using ChatGPT, can you generate a dossier? All those documents, which is like a lot of efforts, and the data is there in some system, in some shape and form, how can I make a dossier out of it just by a button click? Why not? Maybe, possible. Imagine this. Let's talk about R&D. Now, globally, there are people who are doing certain AI-based modeling, and they are able to reach a drug discovery timeline. They are able to reduce the drug discovery timeline by some 30-40%. Why can't India do so? India also has the might of getting the right data scientists, the right data engineers and all. So global companies are actually spending their hard-earned fortune on doing such R&D stuff, such cutting edge in R&D and manufacturing basically. The same thing, India is also coping up with it. I don't think we are too far. We are there yet. It's just that little final nudge is required to make it happen. Some help from government, some help from regulators will also ease out the process, but I think we are there yet. Correct, absolutely. So because I think important thing is pre-COVID and post-COVID. So pre-COVID we had some challenges in getting budgets. Post-COVID it has become little easier, but I think it will become further easier if a right business case is put forward. Like if I go to my management and say that, hey, fund me a crore of rupees, for example, and I'll be able to give you at least a 40% time reduction in a drug discovery cycle, for example. Probably that is a good spend. Yeah, and we are able to, so boards nowadays are also able to relate to these digital technologies because they have seen the value, and the value is not created overnight. Rome was not built overnight. That value consistently has to be delivered across multiple projects, multiple initiatives, and the way we think about value today from a digital lens is also changing. Earlier, the conversation was about how do we save dollar using digital. Now the conversation is also around how do I reduce my 483s, or how do I make sure that my compliance is up to speed, the way I'm expecting, ALCOA principles are met or not. So the conversations in the boardroom have also changed now. Not only ROI, they also consider other benefits as an ROI as well. Indian companies for that matter, the moment we put a business case of 40% time reduction, 43% cost reduction in manufacturing and all, I think these numbers are actually helping us to sell and to get more technology into the pharmaceutical space. I think that has improved the way we look at pharmaceutical space and technology coming in very high. Yeah, so AI has started knocking our doors. Not now, it has been there for quite some time. Yeah. The way AI, ML operate, it has been there since 20, 30 years now. It's just that now the buzzword has started hitting us because of the chat GPT, making it more democratized, I would say. More you democratize, it will become commoditized as well. Because it becomes like commodity. Today it's a novelty, tomorrow it will become a commodity. So how do I make AI more value generating for the company is the biggest question to ask. Now look at it from a lens that current challenges around AI are, I think, majorly around data. How do I get the right data? And how do I make the right compute? How do I use the right compute to churn those models and get the results out? Biggest problem in AI is also hallucination. AI hallucinates. And so I was asking this question to ChatGPT some day back that, okay, there is a nurse who's standing outside and some things I gave. And then I asked ChatGPT, okay, what is your description of the nurse? So ChatGPT responded as she is standing there, she is doing that. Why a nurse has to be a female always? Because it is hallucinating, it is taking some biases from the past, and it is actually generating that as an image, right, of a nurse, that nurse has to be female. Why? Right? So for that reason, the right prompt is extremely important. So the way I look at AI, how do I make it more value generating for the organization is fivefold. These are 5 important things for any AI to work. One is for most important data, making sure that the right data, quality, curated data is available. Second is around the way we have those models. Now these models need not always be generative AI. They can be traditional AI models. They can be ML models as well, right? Third is around compute, getting the right compute, the right GPUs to churn these models out and use this data. Fourth is around talent, getting the right talent, because in our industry today, like pharmaceutical industry for that matter, we need to have some kind of a pharmaceutical experience to understand the way we operate, at least this model specifically. And the fifth one, which is very important for me and for everyone rather, is trust but verify. You trust whatever has come out of the AI, but you please verify. Even if, like I was giving an example in the panel, that if you are doing drug discovery and if you are generating a set of compounds, a set of molecules against a specific target, and you want to just go ahead and file it, it will not work. You will need to do the test. You need to make sure that all the laboratory work is completed. You need to verify your AI and feed it back to the data set, and again make it in the next iteration, make it more and more fine-tuner. So always trust, but please verify. So these are the top 5 things which I think which everyone should consider. And I think AI is there to stay, because it has just started knocking our door in the right way. In next 5 years, if at all you don't have AI in your company, you will become irrelevant. Like today, if you don't have your email address, right? Tomorrow, 5 years down the line, if you don't have AI, people will not consider you in the competition at all.